In 2022, I spent almost all of my time studying, reading dozens of investing books, learning accounting, valuation, and even some statistics. Yet despite all that effort, I lost 52% that year. That contrast shocked me, so I decided to study computer science, the subject of thinking itself. To my surprise, after I learned it, my returns changed completely. Last 3 years, my annual return is 50%. Not because I found better stocks, but because I learned to think and to live differently. In this video, I'll share how learning computer science made me become a better investor. Abstraction, the logic of investing. Abstraction means rising above the details until you see the underlying logic. There are millions of investing books, each with its own claim. But at its core, investing is simple. It's buy a piece of a business today to share in the cash it creates tomorrow. Every investment, big or small, comes down to one question: is it worth it? Imagine a small coffee shop. How much would you pay to own it? How much cash would it earn each year? Would the return justify the price? It's the same logic behind every investment, just with bigger numbers. Abstraction taught me to rise above noise, to see the core logic. And once the logic is clear, you could design algorithms to implement it. Algorithms turning wisdom into a process. In computer science, an algorithm is a repeatable process that solves a problem. It takes an input, follows clear steps, and then produces a predictable output. But the beauty of algorithm isn't in the code. They train you to break complexity into different modules, layers, and steps. Here's my algorithms in investing. First, hold long term. Companies need time to create value. When my stocks fell, I didn't panic. I just waited. Second, stay within your circle of competence and focus. I focused on fewer holdings with strong moat. As Charlie Munger said, true outperformance comes from a few great ideas held with conviction. 3. Keep 20 to 30% in bond. Stability builds temperament. When the market drops, you can buy. When it rises, your holdings rise too. Real peace comes from being always prepared. 4. Buy at a margin of safety. You can own any great business if you are patient enough to wait. I bought Costco at a P of 15 during the fear of Amazon's threat, Meta at 15 after Cambridge Analytica scandal, and TSMC below 20 during this year's tariff sell-off. Each time the market was driven by fear, but patience, not predictions, created the real return. Debugging, the art of refining judgment. Investing is a constant debugging process, but not of code, but of perception, emotion, and judgment. Each act of debugging, whether in code, in life, and in investing, is a feedback loop in motion. That's how wisdom accumulates, through observation, reflection, adjustment, refinement. In each feedback loop, when I lost it 50%, I debugged the root cause. I was overloaded with knowledge and forgot the logic. I had learned so much that I became arrogant and impatient and greedy, believing the knowledge itself will generate great return. That huge loss reset my mind from knowing more to see clearer. Each loop refines clarity. Each correction expands consciousness. Algorithms build the architecture of clarity. Debugging keeps that architecture alive. Together, they form a self-correcting loop, a living intelligence that compounds truth and wisdom over time. System thinking, seeing the whole. Computer science teaches you to think in systems, in dependencies, in networks. When you invest, it's not only your mind making the decision, it's your whole system, your whole being. Returns don't come from intellect alone, but from alignment of body, mind, spirit, and emotions. Every layer connects: body, thoughts, emotions, actions, decisions, and outcome. It sends patterns as input, processes, and outputs. My physical discipline shapes my mental discipline. Clarity in writing sharpens my clarity in stock picking. When I feel enough, I have more patience to hold great stocks. My surrender in relationships build the same muscle that help me to surrender and trust when there is a fear in the market. Life itself is a system. How I live is how I invest. How I invest is how I live. Conclusion: the law of wealth. Most people stay within walls of each discipline, math in math, finance in finance. Munger said, to a man with only a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. Investing is a human activity and enlarged one. It's not only about numbers, ratios, and charts. If you master techniques but ignore thinking and temperament, market will eventually teach you balance. You might get lucky for a while, but what you get by luck will be taken away if you don't build character and clarity. That is the law of wealth. Before you build fortune, you need to build a container that can hold it. And that container is you. The work I'm doing, seeing essence, refining my algorithms, and upgrading my whole being is how I build my container. That's why inner wealth creates outer wealth. Go to bed smarter than when you woke up.